And look, I'll leave that slide up, smiling faces, and thank you, and thanks for the time. Thank you for the presenters. Look, I was going to have some deeper, meaningful thoughts here, and I've made lots of notes for the presenters, and they'll be available for more interrogation outside. But the things that were the common themes for me were that all of the themes today were about technology and applying new technology and testing new technology. And that's opening up a whole lot of possibilities, as John described, probably opening up a whole lot of challenges that 5 years ago we wouldn't have thought about, but here it is. But it's that technology as opening up the future. What that also means is that the days of those of us who are a bit long in the tooth of doing a PhD mainly by yourself are thankfully long gone. You need a team. You need people who are field logistics. You need the engineers. You need the scientists. You need the people, like just a small team you send out remotely. You need up here, I think Dirk referred a couple of times to IMNT, to cloud storage, to supercompute, to whatever. It's more than just the individuals now. It's a real sum. And what's really pleasing is that all the papers that were flashed up quickly all had not only multiple authors, but authors from multiple institutions, not even in the same building, and in many cases some end users or some DBCA or conservation groups. So that was one of the things. The other thing that has come up, and it's always been, and probably always will be, is that you don't know how important data is until you've got a decade or 15 years or longer. And the challenge is that while people love whale sharks, the example of the submitting, God, I forget it, sorry, Anthony, Wild Track or whatever it was, that's it. That's just a good. It's supported by volunteers or people voluntarily loading it up there, because while people will love and protect and probably fight and protest to protect whale sharks or turtles or something else in Ningaloo, it's people see the value of it, but without paying for the cost. It's hard to get that long-term support. And as some of the students, I think Colby was one, he's using data that exists and is reusing it because there's new technology. So how you get that continuation, or at least not too many gaps in a time series, is a constant challenge, not only for scientists, but as someone previously in a management agency, it's that as well. The other thing that I was glad to see, to not hear, but I did hear it once and Damien said it, was climate change. We've got focus on the reef. We fortunately, and I think the explanation is, Ningaloo is in pretty good nick. It's doesn't have, and John, I wanted to ask, why don't we have outbreaks of short spine crown of thorns, but we'll leave that for another day. But we don't have that. There is limited bleaching further on north, but not there. It's in good nick, but still, Damien alluded to sea level rises, and it's really, will the corals in most of the areas not only compete with rising sea levels and stay in that right zone, but what happens as the water gets warmer or the currents change or whatever else changes as well. So it was good that we didn't hear much about it, but it's the thing that keeps me up at night, and I think about it. One of the other things that is very interesting, I have the privilege in the role, is that at the moment there's a science review for the Great Barrier Reef investment since the previous government invested in GBRF. It's just a normal rolling review. And when I've talked to the external reviewers, and these are leaders, most of them are US based, I've asked for two additional things. I wanted to know how the work in the GBR is benchmarked to other places internationally, Florida, Caribbean, Red Sea, other places. I've also said, what are the learnings from GBR that can come to Ningaloo or to Northern Territory or to somewhere else, Cocos and Christmas, other territories, but what are the learnings from here that we can take back to the GBR? Now, fortunately, some of the people that you saw today work on the other side of the world, called the Eastern States, but those sort of learnings across it are really critical as well. I can wax lyrical, but I'm between you and the beers, as was pointed out. So I just wanted to also remind people of the next steps. Ningaloo's got, and I'll just wave my hands, Damien, about 12 more months to run. In that time, there'll be the final field campaigns. There'll be a bunch of data analysis. Don't worry, as you pointed out today, if you really have a love and a passion to do some additional video watching or data analysis, come and see the people today. There's space for everybody. It's an open tent on that one. There'll be continuing the science excellence and benchmarking the work through scientific publications externally. That'll happen, and that'll probably happen across to the end of the project. And there's also the reporting, which no doubt will happen by May next year, something like that. Yeah, so that's what's happening. It's not over. We've already had an initial discussion as well. Will there be a wrap-up one of these about this time next year? We'll leave that as an open question at the moment, but just put a pencil mark somewhere about this time next year anyway. Before I sign off and let you out, thank you so much for your attention and your patience, and the presenters. I was a bit nervous after the timing, but you all nailed it. And in fact, I'm the only slow one here, so thank you all. Thanks for the great questions. Thank you to Dirk, who has got another 15,000 steps up just this afternoon, so he is great, ready for the marathon. Thanks, Anthea. I know Mel took some photos. Our camera person's there. If you've got any other questions, grab whoever you need to talk to. Otherwise, thank you for your attention. Thank you for our guests from Woodside, from DBCA, from DPID. I nearly said Fisheries, Jess, sorry. And other institutions. It's great, and we should do more of the symposia. But thank you very much. Have great afternoons. Thank you.